Thank you for watching the TDC Hot Rods YouTube channel.
Hello guys, so tonight on the Mustang, I happened to notice when I pulled it off the jack stands and I had to push it out of the garage this morning, I thought that everything back at the back of the car that holds pretty much everything, water pump, fuel pump, radiator, but most importantly fuel tank, fuel cell, and radiator stuff, I thought those mounts were fully welded. Well, they weren't. So tonight I will be welding all that stuff up, getting it final welded, and I will show you. I finally got, this is the fitting that I have been talking about in like 3 or 4 videos now that I'm waiting for, that goes down here off of this. It goes right in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. But anyways, it's for my turbo drain. So I got that fitting now. So I'll be final welding up everything underneath the back of the car, putting that fitting on. Let's see. That's the most important couple things that I want to do. I'm sure there's, put my tranny cooler in it. It's not the tranny cooler that I'm gonna keep in there. The one that I really wanted to use, I went to put it up there. I didn't like it. I could use it, but I don't like it. I really want to use one that I like. I want a nice big one. I want to make sure it's gonna get plenty cool. I personally don't think you can have a tranny cooler big enough. But anyhow, so that's what we're gonna start working on now. Hopefully tomorrow night will be the video of this baby getting fired up for the first time. I really hope. I have to go buy some oils, but by the end of tonight, I should be only oil away from firing this thing up, and gas, but that's just hanging out the gas pump. So yeah, anyways, we will, time to get busy. So I thought I would do a little demonstration on how I happen to wrap headers or do anything with exhaust wrap. I don't have much experience in it, but this is just how I've done it on this car, and I think it's turned out pretty darn nice. So I personally like to, I got it soaking. This is just a piece that was left over from before. I like to soak it in water. The couple reasons: it helps it stretch a little bit better. What I'm doing here is I'm gonna wrap. This is the oil drain line. Well, the header happens to be pretty close to it, so I want to wrap just a little section of it in header wrap. I don't know how well it'll turn out, for one, because it's so small, and my clamps are these metal zip ties. Personally, I don't think that they're gonna turn out very good around there, but I might be wrong. We might find out that they look pretty good. So I like to soak it in water just for a few minutes. It helps stretch it and it helps keep the fiberglass down. And you guys want to use gloves for sure. This is basically all fiberglass. So if you don't use gloves, you will regret it. So all I'm doing is I'll start in one section and I like to give it a straight wrap, as in I'm not trying to go down the edge of the line, one full revolution. And I only do that because I found that it creates a nicer starting edge. Like this edge here is nice and parallel. It doesn't, if you go at an angle like this, like I'll start doing when I wrap it around, then it creates an uneven edge, and I don't really like that. So, but after the first wrap, then I pull it as tight as I can, which is going to be very tricky on this here flexible line. And then I overlap it 50%. I don't really know what the recommendation is, but that's what I do. And then partway through, you can grab it and twist it like you're wringing out a rag, and that'll really make it tighter. And while you're doing this, you should, at least for me, you should see water dripping. If you drip it in the water, and if you soak it in the water, some of it should drip out. And when you wring it, it kind of helps tighten it all up. Makes it nice and tight, which is exactly what you want. Because if you can do some Google searches and find some real not so good ways of doing it. And then at the very end, I like to do the same as the beginning and try to square it up. It can be quite tricky to get a nice tight edge there. Then you take your metal zip ties and wrap it around there. I don't know how well this is going to turn out, but we're going to try it. Kind of loosened up there towards the end. I don't necessarily love that. I like to take a pair of pliers and put here on the edge up against this portion of it, like this, and then give it a good pull back, and it cinches it up real nice and tight. Of course, I don't want it too tight that it's going to pinch this line off. This is still braided line, so I don't think it's going to do that, but still want it tight enough that it's it's not gonna go anywhere. And then I like to fold them over backwards so then they don't loosen up. And then cut it off. At the very ends of them, it always has a little bit of looseness, not like just left over because it's like 2 inches wide. Well, the zip ties only cover 1/4 inch of it. So I like to do two straps at the end, zip ties at the end, and just one at the beginning, because the beginning overlaps itself and kind of holds it down real nice and tight. So we'll do 2 straps here at the end. And then one at the beginning. And then that right there is what we got going on. You can kind of see there how it leaves a little bit extra, so I don't necessarily love the end of this, but I think this is going to do a darn good job of keeping any kind of heat away from it. All right, so we got pretty much everything done that I wanted. Quite shocking. That doesn't happen very often. So let me grab a flashlight and I will show you guys what I did back here. So we have this mount here that holds the radiator up on both sides. Let me turn the flashlight on. There we go. So it wasn't welded up here all the way. It was just tack welded on. I thought that was fully welded. I thought my fuel pump mount here, up inside here, was fully welded. Well, I was wrong. Everything was just tack welded on. Not everything, but all of it was just tack welded. So I got that all welded up. This main feed line here that goes from the water pump over there, right over there, to the radiator port. I started messing around with some hoses that I had, mainly like this one because I have a part number to it, so I can go into Napa and buy a brand new hose, and then I was just figuring out how I'm gonna run this transfer line here, but I got it figured out. My tranny cooler, which that's one of the lines right there, did not work out like I planned, so that's gonna have to wait for tomorrow. And when we fire this baby up for the first time, most likely I'll just put a bypass through there, so it won't actually be a cooler on it, but it'll go circulate around, because I think I'm gonna buy a cooler with a 6AN ends on the end of it, so then, because the whole rest of the car has AN fitting, which looks really nice, and I really like that AN look. So I will probably buy AN style cooler and put on there. Haven't completely decided yet, but up here we got the drain mounted. You can see there where I put the header wrap on, and then it comes down there and goes over there into the oil pan. So that is everything that I wanted to get done tonight, and I was able to. So the only thing that I need to do to be able to fire this baby up is put a crossover on the tranny cooler line, so that should only take a minute. I need to put fluid in the transmission, put fluid in the oil in the engine, prime the oil system, just because I don't know the last time this engine was ever fired up. It is a used engine, so I don't know the last time it was fired up. Plus, I would like to get oil to the turbos and running through the turbos before I ever fire it up and spin them real fast. So yeah, so I just gotta do those couple things and I should be able to fire it up. So that will be tomorrow night's video. Will be of me trying to fire this baby up. I'm super excited. I'm not nervous yet, but I'm sure I will be when it comes time to it. But yes, I am very excited. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.